whack. You do.
Woo! Let's go! Fourth and Forever is back, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all punch that like button on your way in the building. We got some breaking news dropping in the NFL today. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about winners and losers of trades. As you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami Dolphins, big transaction, and so much more going on around the NFL. Thank y'all for tuning in. Here are our co-hosts, Dan Mitchell and Richie Malora. What's up,
Woo! Look at that energy. I'm ready to go, baby. Football's back. Okay, this trade has fired me up. All of a sudden, do you know what today is? It's the NBA free agency. And the NFL's like, yeah, you would have thought the NBA would have had their day. We got a massive blockbuster trade in the NFL, and I'm excited to talk about it. Missed you guys.
Man, you know what? I indeed missed you guys as well. Nice weekend. And I think we were blessed with some NFL news today. I was saying that Adam Schefter ended up putting out his very own 3-part Netflix special, where normally I'm sure during the heat of the season, he probably would have announced all 3 moves. But dude literally just started dropping them 3 minutes apart. I can't hate on the guy. It's the dead season. Thank God we finally had some movement within the world of the NFL. But damn, man, I am excited to see how this plays out. Which team won the trade? I have a pretty good gut feeling of who won it. But here we are.
TV. Yes. We're gonna break it all down right here on Roundtable Sports Fourth and Forever, and make sure you put your questions in the chats if you have one. If you send in a super chat or a member, we want to make sure we read it. But this was a big trade, and it has a lot of implications in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. The Pittsburgh Steelers, obvious contenders for a Super Bowl this year. The Miami Dolphins, people trying to figure out what they're gonna do. How does this impact the AFC and more? Right here on Roundtable Sports. Shout out to all the members and the mod squad as well. We're going to start out by asking the simple question: who won the trade? But let's get what you think of the trade first. We're going to start out with Richie. Talk to us.
All right. I mean, this trade, it was expected from a lot of different perspectives. And what I mean by that is we knew Jalen Ramsey was going to get traded. It wasn't a matter of if, it was going to be a matter of when, right? And I think now that he's officially traded, and then you add in the Jonnu Smith situation, you're like, are the Dolphins really going to trade a player that broke out in their offense? When, by the way, the Miami Dolphins are all in to win right now. They're not a rebuilding team. It's not like, yeah, we'll trade Jonnu because we want to, do something good for our future. No, you need to win now, and Jonnu just went off. And that whole situation. But then all of a sudden you see, wait, they got Minka back? You thought it would just be picks. The Minka Fitzpatrick element of this trade definitely makes it that much more interesting because of the obvious of Fitzpatrick being drafted by the Dolphins. And then when the Dolphins traded him to Pittsburgh, a lot of Dolphins fans hated on that move. And then he breaks out with Pittsburgh. Minka Fitzpatrick becomes an all-pro safety, fantastic player. And they get that back in a depleting secondary. So I do think the Dolphins... The only thing I'll say is getting Fitzpatrick in this trade definitely helps, because if it was just draft assets, you'd be screwed. But from the offensive side of the ball, I want to ask TD one question, because I know for sure Dan does not know the answer, because I did not know the answer until I had to look it up. TD, I need you to answer this question within 5 seconds. What'd you say?
Julian Hill. Go ahead.
Oh, who's that?
That's our tight end one.
Who are your tight ends? You don't have anybody.
I knew what you would go ask, Richie. Julian Hill, baby. We drafted him.
Julian Hill.
Listen. It's time
for
the
Miami Dolphins tight ends. They're putting up no-name people. All right, and now they're in. I do think they're going to trade for a tight end. That's the latest thing we did here. Mm-hmm. But man, why would you have to trade away Jonnu Smith? I think that's a big blow. I really, really do. And then the Raheem Mostert added way more stuff to the drama, which we're going to talk about. You can't just, you're hosting the show, but we can't not talk about that, what Raheem Mostert had to say about the situation. You have Tyreek Hill out there, tweeting out, I'm here all alone. So yeah, cool.
Did he do that?
You're getting Minka Fitzpatrick back. Yeah, he did do that. But the Miami Dolphins are an absolute mess right now. Okay? Yeah, you got Minka back. Yeah, you're a mess. This is the beginning stages of it all blowing up. This is the beginning. Okay? I'm telling you right now, and clip this if you have to. Everything is going to blow up this season for the Miami Dolphins. And if you're a Dolphins fans, you should be hoping that happens. You absolutely should, because it needs to get ugly before it gets pretty, and you got to blow it up because it's not going to work from the top to the top. Okay, bottom up. Excuse me.
Now it's so ironic as well. Now it's so ironic that Minka Fitzpatrick demanded a trade from the Miami Dolphins from a team that was at least foreseeably tanking, goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then he is traded back to a team which is more than likely tanking. I wonder how Minka really feels about this. Because I shit you not, I have the Miami Dolphins depth chart pulled up right now, and very oftentimes you'll hear me say there's a difference between a casual fan and an educated fan. I would argue that even some of the most educated fans outside of the Dolphins fan base wouldn't be able to name 2 players within their secondary, 2 players within their tight end room, 2 players within their offensive line. It's such a sign to me, TD, that yes, it's great that you got Minka Fitzpatrick back, but so many holes all over that damn secondary. Replacing Jalen Ramsey is going to be Jason Marshall Jr.
Wait,
I've never heard of that guy.
Dan,
I'm pretty sure that he works at the 7-Eleven down the street, I'm pretty sure.
No, that's not him, Dan. This guy. Who the heck is Storm Duck? That's a made-up guy.
Storm.
This is a made-up guy.
No. Listen, starting CB1
a real
and
human.
CB2.
He's a made-up generator.
CB1 and CB2 is Storm Duck, Jason Marshall, and Kader Kohu. When you can say that the best corner on that depth chart's name is Kader Kohu, look, Minka is going to have to be running, my friend. He's going to have to cover a lot of ground out in that damn secondary. It's not even against AFC East opponents. I went on ahead earlier when the schedule was released from the Miami Dolphins this year, and I said it's going to be very much of the same, where they dominate at the first half of the season and then it falls apart in November and December. Now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure that they will even have that dominant period toward the beginning of said season. Now losing out on Jonnu, like now with all of the behavior we're seeing on X from Tyreek Hill, he's sitting there like he's dropping that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meme where he's by himself looking around a room. Who knows? My take on this is that I have a feeling that Mike McDaniel is fired midway through the season.
100%.
And this is the first sign that Miami is completely blowing this roster up. Don't make a mistake that Minka Fitzpatrick was a sign that what they're trying to do is sort of elevate and excel. I'm sorry, but it is a wash season for this team. It is.
Did Tyreek really put that out?
Yeah, dude, this is the beginning of the end. I mean, I'll be honest, man. This is like some Jets energy. You love roasting the Jets.
Madden-generated players on the Dolphins is nasty work. Yeah.
Dude, you love roasting the Jets, but you're low-key becoming the Jets. Like, this is what happens with the Jets.
Stop, Richie. I don't want to hear you, Richie. You always talk about the Jets. You're still not better than us.
But it clicked in my brain for the first time. Like, you guys are acting like the New York Jets during their toxic era.
No. Listen.
Before it blew up.
First of all,
right before it blew up, this is what we were going through too.
This is what we need to understand. We're still in the off season. There's plenty of moves still to be made.
No, okay? You're not.
Let's start there. Second off, let's talk about this trade. This was a great trade for both teams. I've been on record saying that, Ramsey ain't going to be here. We had to get rid of him. But guess what? We got the best possible scenario of getting rid of Ramsey, bringing back Minka Fitzpatrick. You couldn't have asked for a better return. We thought we were going to have to eat all the salary. I think we're only going to eat $3 million of the 26, and Pittsburgh's going to take on the majority. And we got Minka, who's like a $15 million cap hit this year that we're going to worry about. And here's another aspect to this trade. Jonnu is a blow, but we weren't paying him $12 million. We weren't going to pay him $12 million.
That's fair.
He wanted a re-up contract, and Dolphins opened up the trade discussions. And in Pittsburgh, obviously going for it all right now, they were willing to say, we'll give you the 12. We going for it all. So Dolphins weren't never going to pay him $12 million. So we've accomplished what we wanted to do. Of course, it's unfortunate that we're losing these great players, but Ramsey was already gone, and Jonnu is unfortunate, but hey, business is business. We weren't paying the 12. Okay, now we do have holes, and the only thing that's bad for this with the Dolphins, we were sitting there saying to ourselves, we got one hole in Ramsey. Yeah, there's other holes in the team, but we started out with a hole at safety, a hole at corner, right? But now it's bad because we added an additional hole. Okay, with the tight end position. So we got to figure this out. But good thing is we do see the reports where Miami is in the tight end market. So any of these good tight ends on expiring deals, Miami's trying to look to maybe make a move to bring them in.
This is my question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about your tight end room. Like, if there's anything that I do trust with the Dolphins, it's their offense. It's Mike McDaniel's offensive system. Like, I'm sure Julian Hill is going to have, like, a productive season. I'm not even just saying that. But your secondary is done. Okay? It got worse. Let's not act all of a sudden pretend it got better.
We don't know that because it's
it's
still off season. There's moves to be made.
Okay. There's no move you can make. There's
no
move you can make. Want to know why? Because Minkah Fitzpatrick is washed up. Okay, let's not pretend. Yes, he is. Are you kidding me?
He's coming. Say that.
Why would you keep saying that, Richie?
Are you kidding?
Bro, he was ranked 52nd in the NFL in safety grades on a good team, by the way. 2023, he was 38th. The last time he was the upper echelon safety that's just entrenched in our brains was more than 2 seasons ago, okay? He's on the decline. Safeties don't age well. He's a Jordan Poyer. That's who you just signed, okay? You just got another washed-up safety back to the Miami Dolphins. Reminder, Dolphins fans, this is not your first-round pick. You're not getting him fresh out of college during his prime. He went right to Pittsburgh. He was fantastic with the Steelers when he got there, and now he's on the decline. Back-to-back seasons trending this way, and now he's on a team with nobody around him in the secondary. Now he's supposed to be the best player on the secondary. Well, he will be because there's literally Storm Duck next to him, so obviously he'll be the best. And Ashton Davis, by the way, who's the Jets' 4th-string safety. I mean, let's be honest. Your secondary went backwards, and now all of a sudden the safety room is solved. Miss me with that. Your safety tandem is trash. Still,
they're better than yours.
Andre Cisco. Give me Andre Cisco right now. Andre Cisco.
You're disrespecting Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's what you're doing. You're disrespecting Minkah.
Minka's better than Cisco, obviously.
Number one, I do not believe, and so I don't believe that Minkah Fitzpatrick is washed up. My issue with this is that is quite literally your only safety net in the defense. Maybe we can go out and say, hey, listen, our defensive line, but we're talking about a defensive line that is on the IR after a paper cut.
Yeah, but you can't go off of that, though, Dan.
Secondary is going to be an absolute nightmare, and most quarterbacks are just not going to throw his particular direction. And when you look at all positions within a defense by itself, safety is by and large the least valuable position of any defense on the face of the planet. So
before I was interrupted, the point I was making is the offseason isn't over. The Dolphins going to go shopping. We might even bring in Kyle Pitts. We might go get some veteran corners and be solid.
So I've heard Stephon Gilmore. So I've heard Stephon Gilmore may be interested in the Miami Dolphins as well.
Hey, Stephon Gilmore played well last year for Minnesota. Don't knock that.
Sign Stephon Gilmore. You really are becoming the Jets. If you sign Gilmore, you are the New York Jets all over again.
Gilmore played well for Minnesota last year.
But look,
sign Gilmore.
So I would like to transition over to
naming these washed up players in their holes. Think it's going to do anything? Covering up the major problem.
So I would like to transition over to what we feel like this means for Pittsburgh. And I got to tell you guys something. First off, I'm really curious to see what TJ Watt thinks about all of this, especially since he has yet to get a long-term deal. I wonder if this has upset him. I wonder if Maybe the Steelers are interested in moving on from him. I doubt it, but still a storyline I feel like we need to discuss. But I got to tell you, I have to tell you, I love this for Pittsburgh. This makes me think that when you're sitting there looking at the Baltimore Ravens defense, and we all have collectively agreed that that is a top 3 unit from a personnel standpoint, now I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers with Ramsey being added to this, and I'm looking at the Steelers, and I'm like, is this a better defense than Baltimore?
They won the trade, Pittsburgh. Like, not even.
Like, Minka Fitzpatrick, obviously, right? Like, he's gone, but you still have Deshaun Elliott, who did very well last year.
Okay, he did great last year for them.
Great last year for them. Then they pick up Juan Thornhill from Cleveland, who is a top-of-the-line safety. We should have saw this, like, written in the stars. Like, we should have saw this Minka Fitzpatrick trade written in the stars all along.
Yeah.
Slay and Ramsey.
He was on a decline, and now they're replacing Fitzpatrick with young players that are
Joey
better.
Porter Jr., Slay, Ramsey, and Joey Porter Jr. as well, who's the youth. And don't forget, like, Ramsey can play slot. He can play slot. They could very easily transition him over there.
And safety.
That's a scary-ass defense. And then, now they end up adding Jonnu Smith with Aaron Rodgers, who loves running 12-man personnel. That was an Aaron Rodgers move, ladies and gentlemen. That was an Aaron Rodgers move for him. Freiermuth, excellent blocker, has his chops in pass catching. Chat, I'm not going to lie to you.
Pittsburgh is
Give me the conductor hat, because I'm hopping on the Steelers train this year for the AFC North Champions.
I was on there before this trade.
They're about to be what the Jets were supposed to be.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Just better.
I agree. You know when I saw this coming? In the middle of the season last year. Do you guys remember? I'm like, Rodgers is going to go to the Steelers while he's with the Jets next year and ball out. I'm as high in the Steelers as I've ever been. And I think that this trade levels it up. Jonnu Smith was the tight end number 1 for Miami. He's tight end 2 for the Steelers right now, going into training camp. And that tells you how talented they are at that position, number 1. And you add in Jalen Ramsey to an already good secondary, and they got better at safety. They got the youngins ready to go. Fitzpatrick was on the decline. People are like, uh-oh, but the Steelers got rid of Fitzpatrick. What about their safety tandem? No, this is like a brilliant move for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you know what they just did? They cleared up an old player that's on the decline for a young guy to have an opportunity. And in this league, it's all about opportunity. Because there are so many talented players across the NFL that never get a shot because there's somebody making more money than them and older than them, above them on the depth chart, and the only thing that's in their way is a potential injury or a trade like this. Now you got the 2 young safeties coming on in, and now the Steelers can build through the youth. You add a veteran like Ramsey in the cornerback room with already young guys. Man, Pittsburgh, this is just what good organizations do. They are a winning organization, and they're going all in right now to win the Super Bowl. And I agree with what you said. They're doing everything that the New York Jets tried to do. And, you know, I'm not going to be ignorant to say they're going to succeed way better than the Jets. Of course, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy.
Folks, I'm sorry. I am sorry, but I have been looking at this depth chart over at Pittsburgh, and I do not see a starter that I would not consider to be top in the league of their position, maybe with the exclusion of Benton at nose tackle. You have Derek Harmon, first-round draft pick, very high on him, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Alex Highsmith, all as your linebackers.
Damn, I got Patrick Queen, too. I forgot.
Darius Slay, Deshaun Elliott, Juan Thornhill, Joey Porter Jr., and I was right, Jalen Ramsey being moved over to the slot corner position.
Well, this is unofficial.
And this is, but
that's not the Steelers.
I'm literally looking at this roster and say that they can stay healthy, which is obviously a prayer. Like, we're talking about the NFL. Obviously, some injuries are going to happen.
Man,
I feel like we need to start having a conversation that this might be one of the contenders of being the best defense in the NFL.
Well, they're definitely better than Buffalo now. They're definitely better than Buffalo. So those are
speaking of Buffalo,
on the defensive side of things for sure. But
let's honor the super chat, guys. We gotta give this man NFL resume. Come on, TD, you're the host. This is your job.
Hold on, Dan. their offensive roster is still better than Buffalo's.
All right, let's get to the super chat before we go into this. Dan, how confident are you that the Bills will have more wins than the Dolphins and Jets combined? Expected each of those teams to win 6 games. Dan, will the Buffalo Bills have more wins than the Jets and Dolphins combined?
Yes. Yes.
Come on.
Definitely. I don't even need to think about it, my friend. NFL
Really?
Nets
You think
fan.
the Dolphins are going to win like 1 or 2 games then?
Stop the
4.
ridiculousness. We still
4.
at 9, 10 wins.
I mean, look, I'm really trying not to be a troll here, but this is the worst scenario that Mike McDaniel and Tua have ever had walking into a season. Ever.
And they're preaching, there's a new culture now.
A terrible offensive line. A secondary filled with Madden-generated players.
Should we pull up the Dolphins depth chart just after the trade?
Dude,
like the Steelers?
Dude, honestly, here. You know what? We'll do it again. Here.
We don't have
Guys,
to
listen,
dig
I'm
into
not-
all of
They
this.
got
not
Storm Duck
trolling.
at corner.
As folks, chat, please put a 1 in the chat. Say that you've heard any of these names. all right?
Tyrell Dodson.
We have Jason Marshall Jr. This guy right here, strong safety. Storm Duck.
That's the best. He's gonna be a
Jordan
beast.
Brooks.
Brooks is solid, man.
Benito Jones. Man. Who are these fools? Let's go over to the offensive line. All right.
Aaron Brewer.
We're not
Austin
on
Jackson,
offense.
Aaron Brewer, James Daniels, Jonah
Good.
Savina, Liam Eichenberg. He should be the starter, baby. He should be the starter. That Liam, man,
We all right. We got a roster that can compete.
it's tough out there, man. It's tough out there in Dolphins world. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, at the end of the day, the Dolphins, there's still time to build this roster up the way that they want to build it up. Also, I want to give a quick shout out. Make sure everybody watching right now, you go over to X and check out Dolphins Roundtable, dropping the latest news on Miami Dolphins. We also going to have a Pittsburgh Steelers Roundtable. All the roundtables are active live on X, so go check them out and follow them right now. All right, make sure you go check them out. They're putting up content, all your breaking news, and what's crazy is when Adam Schefter reported it, I was sitting there like, hold on, man, is this real? And the first network to actually post it right after was Roundtable Sports, so I knew what time it was. So, yeah, man, big ups to Roundtable Sports dropping the latest in all sports news.
Yeah, the
Go
link right now is in the
follow
chat.
As Glenn comes in, Richie, do you listen to yourself? You tell us that it is a good idea for Pitt to start their young guys, but Miami to start it is a
Thank
tragedy.
you.
What young guys are you starting that are good? I'm missing that.
What
Who are
young
you starting?
guys the Pittsburgh Steelers got this good.
Yeah, because they're actually good, and they get the opportunity
And
to
they've
win with
proven
the
to be
team
good.
that has
They've
proven to be
proven to be
good,
good.
and an organization that's proven to know how to win. The Dolphins aren't going young. Where are they going young, Glenn? Because they traded away Ramsey and Jonnu. Now they're going young by bringing in a Wash Fitzpatrick. They're not going young.
So it's funny, too, because some Dolphins fans, I think, while coping, were saying, with Ramsey's washed, man. Like, he's washed. He's not the same. I think that he actually has a better season next year in Pittsburgh because we've seen this story before. A player by the name of Kyle Van Noy was once a linebacker on the Miami Dolphins. And we all thought that he was washed, but then he ended up moving over to the Baltimore Ravens, the AFC North. And he was one of the top linebackers in the NFL last year. So I am actually anticipating that Jalen Ramsey follows the exact same motion, if you will.
I got to make a list because we just keep on moving on from players and then they end up being even way better when they're gone.
Yeah, that's called coaching. Wow, you really are.
So
becoming
have
the Jets.
pending with Ramsey right on the outside. Like that Steelers team, man, like they should put those fools on Hard Knocks. That's a squad right there. Like that's a squad of personalities.
With Tomlin, man.
You have Tomlin, have hippie Aaron Rodgers.
I'm worried
have
about
DK
Pittsburgh.
Metcalf.
We play them this
Jalen
year.
Ramsey. Huh?
We all play them this year, right?
Yeah,
We'll take care of him week 1.
Oh.
I'm literally like, My
Y'all
event,
ain't taking care of nothing.
Jets
Garrett
Media
Wilson
Day,
will
I
have
will be
5
witnessing
yards.
this. I will be seeing Jalen Ramsey getting cooked by Garrett Wilson all over again like he did
Garrett
last year.
Wilson gonna have 5 yards. Stop that
He had
mess.
70 yards on him last year.
Last year, they didn't have Slay and Ramsey.
One-on-one, Garrett Wilson cooked Jalen. Cooked.
Stop that mess.
I'm serious. It's a stat that backs it up that Jalen Ramsey gave up the most yards since 2017 when he went up against Garrett Wilson this year.
Well, y'all getting smoked this year. And Buffalo is too. We might
Week
have
one.
a tough game.
By who?
Week 1 is the best. Jets win in week 1, baby. We got the Steelers exactly where we want them.
We own them. Come on.
Pittsburgh roster is
Hmm.
way better than the Bills roster, Dan.
You don't win
Y'all
football
just got
games on
knocked out.
paper.
So many teams had a better roster than the Buffalo Bills last year, but you
Yeah.
want to
You
know
don't win
what
games.
the key factor was? We have a better quarterback than most rosters. Than 30 other rosters. We have a better quarterback, and that's all that matters. So as long as Josh Allen is still breathing, I could care less about your rosters. He's going to cook your ass.
And we're
by
beating the
himself.
Steelers week 1 because we know Aaron Rodgers. And if you want to verse the Steelers at some point this season, it's week 1. They have no identity yet. Come on, baby. They're vulnerable. Upset alert.
Now, I am curious to see what Mostert had to say. I am actually reacting to this live on camera.
Oh my gosh, this Mostert.
Okay. Hot take, Raheem Mostert. Be a Pro Bowler on the Dolphins. Get treated like shit. Happy for my guys, though. Go ball out.
Because Mostert was a Pro Bowler, and we moved on from him. And then now this year, Jonnu was a Pro Bowler and gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a culture that you want to talk about developing a culture. You already have one. This is your culture.
It's not a good look for Miami, man, because here's the reality. I'm gonna have to talk really bad about the Dolphins here real quick. This isn't good. We're sitting here trying to convince people we got a new culture without distractions. But these are the people they consider to be the distractors. But those people were actually right, and they were your best players. Some of your best players. And we're trying to sell people on the fact that this is a new culture where guys get along and it's all friendly and we're a real, a get along team now. We're all working together for one goal. I'm sorry. Don't move me in this passive, soft direction. Move me in the direction of these dogs that y'all act like we're a problem. It's a reason why people always view the dogs as problems, because they leading the way and you don't like it. They leading the way. They're trying to set the tone. They're trying to set the tone. It's not toxic. It's tone. They're trying to show you what it takes. They're trying to get in and up in at people. Yeah, they're disgruntled sometimes. That's particularly because you're doing it the soft way, and they can't operate in that. And this is what people don't understand. They think certain players are toxic. No, they just can't operate in softness. They can't operate in weakness. So they become a problem. And that's the bigger problem. But we always blame the people. Oh, they're a problem. They're toxic to the locker room. No, because your locker room is weak. And real dogs start to become a problem in weak locker rooms. But instead of getting on board with the dogs, you want to get rid of them and say, now we have a healthy locker room. Man, that's the problem with Miami.
Yeah,
and
it sounds like
quote unquote culture.
Yeah, that is your problem, and I appreciate you for being real with your team. That's respectful right there. And then he says Super Bowl.
Respectful
See, when
indeed.
I get involved. That's what I'm talking about, T. That's some real stuff. That's what we like. We like authentic, objective, Tony Dow, baby.
When are you going to be authentic about the Jets?
All right, I'll be authentic right now. Tell me I won't be.
How terrible you going to be, and you got a quarterback that can't hit a barn door.
No, I'm not buying into that because that's just a narrative that you're
So you
spewing.
ain't being real.
Yeah, he can hit a barn door.
He can't, once every
You're making it seem like he can't throw the football with that narrative.
He can't, Richie. He's not.
So
He can't hit a barn door. All right.
So I'll
Justin
tell you
Fields
what.
shouldn't be in the NFL. Can't hit a barn door.
something that's intriguing, and we teased this earlier today. In recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers defensive end TJ Watt, who skipped the team's mandatory minicamp, and Pittsburgh hasn't showed any willingness to deal with Watt so far, but he's unhappy with his contract talks per Adam Schefter. Sources believe outside team interest is likely to increase given today's trade. What do you think, boys? And by the way, shout out to the interns for putting that together. You know who you are. What do you think, folks? Is Pittsburgh going to figure something out with TJ Watt? If you were to ask me, I feel like you need to. That is a guy that is quite literally the engine of your defense. I don't care how good your secondary is. If you do not have the gentleman who was once statistically recorded to being the reason you won and lost football games, it's true. In fact, the Steelers have a losing record when TJ Watt is not starting.
Wow.
Then I think they would be going crazy. I would hang up the phone. I'd go on Do Not Disturb, and I would call his agent immediately and give that man whatever he wants. Richie, how should Pittsburgh handle this situation?
It's no question. You're in all-in win now mode.
Yeah, Jesse saying the Eagles definitely called Pitt. For sure they did. Go ahead.
There's no brainer. If you're the Steelers, this is you're all in now because you know what people are talking about? That this isn't just only Aaron Rodgers' potentially last season, but some people are questioning if this is Mike Tomlin's last season. And that tells me this is an all-in. You don't trade old TJ Watt when you have this opportunity. And you're 100% correct, Dan. He is the engine. He is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, without him, you saw it right there. There is no way that you are going to be as dominant as you possibly can. He's a generational talent. He is the Pittsburgh Steelers. He creates turnovers. He's a game wrecker. And you got to just do whatever he's asking for. And I think TJ Watt has the leverage. He understands how great he is. He understands his greatness. I mean, he's all-time level. And you're seeing all these contracts happen. He's in a contract year, I believe, last season of his deal. So You want some long-term commitment with the team that drafted him and the team that made him who he is. And the Steelers don't have the leverage because TJ Watt knows, you don't want to trade me. You want me here. You want to go in the Super Bowl. I'm the face of this defense. If they get rid of TJ Watt, that secondary that they have, not going to do anything this year as good as we think. TJ Watt's the key. I expect him to get a deal done.
So what are your thoughts on that, TD?
I think they'll get a deal done too. You have to. This is the Super Bowl window. You have to get this done. You got to make it happen. Here's the deal, though. I think Pittsburgh's under the same situation Miami's under, where they don't really want to commit long-term money on anybody just in case they want to blow it all up after this year, and they could even be moving on from Tomlin if it's a disaster. So they don't want to commit money long-term. But this is TJ Watt. I think you need to commit to him long-term, the face of a franchise, and give him his money. But here's the deal. If they don't decide to do that, they're going to be looking for a trade just like this. Moving on from TJ Watt, but bringing in another pass rusher that's pretty good too. So making some type of swapped out trade that's not disgruntled. So Pittsburgh's going to do whatever's best for them, but if they do trade, they're going to be getting a nice pass rusher back in return. Or they're just going to get the job done. But you can't rule out anything with Pittsburgh. They're starting to feel like they're on the rich side. So maybe, they may not mind making some, consolations. Because remember, with a secondary like that, you might be willing to step out there and give up Watt and say, hey, collectively, we still can get the job done on defense. Our back end is better. So, so it's just how they're looking at it. But they're obviously positioning themselves. And the interesting part, you just paid Ramsey. You just paid Ramsey and Jonnu on a 1 year, might I add. So remember that. Ramsey is almost $26 million. Dolphins are only going to be paying like $3 or $4 million of it. So they're going to take care of the rest. And Jonnu flat out 1 year, $12 million. So you're paying. If you sign a deal for Watt, then you're going to give him a big extension and probably back end it. So, or just move on. So we'll see, but I think that they keep him because you don't squander this opportunity. You have a Super Bowl roster. Now you don't have to worry about the little kids, the Justin Fields of the world, the washed up, Russell Wilsons of the world. Aaron Rodgers still has what it takes with weapons to be the veteran Hall of Famer that he is. They're like, people need to understand, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are still two different leagues. They're just both veterans. They are not in the same league like people would think they are because Russell Wilson had some success early in his career. They are not in the same league. So this is going to be interesting.
Pablo coming in saying the Dolphins' offensive line is unproven, not bad. 3 new starters.
I want to remind everybody, we got a lot of people tuning in right now live. I think a record-breaking 250 live.
Especially for a dead season.
Hit that subscribe button right now, folks. We got a lot of people tuning in.
Guys, listen, I can only imagine that this might be so one of your first times tuning in. And if that's the case, thank you so much and welcome. And maybe this is your first time discovering the show. This is our daily NFL news show, where you will see myself, Richie, and TD on screen breaking down all of the breaking news, rumors, and hot takes surrounding the league. So is it important to subscribe? Absolutely. But even more importantly, hit that bell notification sign so you never miss an episode. I really think that you guys are going to vibe with this show, man. It's NFL talk. It's not just AFC East like some of our other roundtable shows. Smash that like button and say that you're new here. Don't be shy. Please introduce yourself in the chat. We would love to understand what team you're currently representing and where you're tuning in from. All right, we are building a crazy community over here, and we appreciate that. All right, guys. Last topic I kind of wanted to dive into right before we let these guys go. Trevor Lawrence, man, he's finally getting the hate that he deserves. As Ari Mirov just went on YouTube a little bit ago, I love this take. From Ari. He says, if Trevor Lawrence played in a bigger market, there'd be way more noise about his up and down career, especially after landing a massive $275 million contract a year ago. Not everything has been his fault, but he has a lot to prove in 2025. I would agree with you there. If Trevor Lawrence was the quarterback of the New York Giants or the New York Jets, or I'm trying to think of like some other like massive market team that probably would be shredding this guy alive.
Cowboys.
Or yeah. And so the Dallas Cowboys. Why is this guy so coddled? Why is there still a section of NFL fans or even talking heads that still have Trevor Lawrence as the golden boy? Oh, he hasn't even hit his ceiling. I'll tell you what, folks. I've been waiting for this guy to hit his ceiling. Hell, I have been waiting for him to hit his floor that you told me it was going to be when he was drafted. He's coddled. And the only thing saving him is that he is with a small market team. Richie, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's the first overall pick. Expectations are through the roof. He has one, I think, semi-good season where he went to the playoffs and won the division. But outside of that, he has not broke out onto the steam. And I think this is a make-or-break opportunity for him because he's with a brand-new head coach, Liam Cohen. And, they're going to try to build something with him. He got paid. So he's locked up. He's been in the league 4 years. And he's one of those quarterbacks that's going to try to have his own Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold story. But the difference is he stays on the same team. And listen, if Trevor Lawrence goes out there this year and puts up 28 touchdowns, a winning season, then we're going to be saying, okay, finally. I think that he definitely deserves his criticism, but in his first 4 seasons, he's obviously a bust. He hasn't lived up to expectations. And now he's got a brand new coach, brand new thing. And if it doesn't get figured out right now with this regime, then he's gone. The Jaguars will move on. He'll become that next quarterback to try to revive himself on another team to either succeed or fail and then be a long-term backup. So this is really his last opportunity. I don't know about this year because it's a brand new coach, but a lot of pressure's on him this year, in my opinion. So I understand that take. If he was on another team, it would be loud. If he was the Jets quarterback, people want him out of town. Same thing with any other big market. So I agree with that.
And so what do you got on that, TD? Is Trevor Lawrence protected by the false notion that he is in a small market?
No, I don't think he's protected at all. I just think nobody cares because of the small market. They're used to Jacksonville making dumb decisions. And paying him what they paid him was a dumb decision. And on top of it, hey, franchises like Jacksonville deserve the quarterback that's good enough not to be good enough. They deserve it because they're okay with it. They just move along, and blame, just like Miami. They just move along and blame everything around him and making him be the golden boy, saying we got a quarterback. When at the end of the day, you don't have a team and your quarterback's not good enough. Like you said, you're waiting on Trevor's ceiling. You've already seen it. That's the problem. The notion that we're waiting on his ceiling is the biggest misconception, and that's what's protecting him. The narrative of a new ceiling. No, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these guys like Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray, you've already seen their ceiling, but you believe that there's still more to be seen, and that's what protects them. And you're wrong. And that's what's going to continue to happen. They're not going to realize for another 2 years that, hey, we need to switch up on quarterbacks. And let me add this last point to it. You know what bad franchises do?
What's that?
When they finally realize that Trevor, Tua, Kyler, and those type of guys is good but not good enough, when they finally realize it's time to move on, they trade for one of the other guys. They trade with each other. Like, all right, Dolphins take Trevor, we get Tua, you get that. Like, that's what they do. So it keeps them in that state, but now they got a reset clock trying to figure it out around that guy. So it's not just the market, it's incompetence in the organizations. And some markets have been dumbed down so much to accept it because it's better than the alternative of bad quarterbacks you've had. Like, and I always use this analogy, Dan, on a scale of 1 to 10. If you need a quarterback that's an 8, and every year you're dealing with the 4 or 5, 10 years later, you're still dealing with 4s and 5s. When you get that 6.5, you don't want to let it go, but you forgot that he's still not an 8. You forgot because it's been so long. So you cherish the 6.5. Oh, it's better than those 4s. It's better than those 5s. And teams get caught up in that. And that's the problem.
Damn. Man, we have some college
master
football.
at this for a reason.
We have some college football talk in here from John saying Lenore Sellers might be QB1 in the 2026 draft. University of South Carolina. Gunslinger. Hell of a damn talent. But I'll tell you what, he's number 6 for me going into it, man. We have some good quarterback prospects coming in for the draft. And for those of you that like college football, have no fear. Roundtable Sports is launching a college football show this year. We already have a TikTok account where we have been spraying you with news and takes on college football already at Roundtable CFB. Certainly go check that out. And we will be announcing the full slate of hosts and what we're going to be doing on that side of things. So if you are a college football fanatic, we got a damn show for you. Folks, we appreciate you tuning in to a very special episode because, wow, things happened over in Miami. All right? Now, please do us a favor, guys. We're live, all right, Monday through Thursday during the summer at 2 p.m. EST, bringing you all of this NFL breaking news, rumors. We are dead set on getting you through this offseason. Smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications because I got to tell you what, I would love to see you guys back tomorrow. I would love to see you back tomorrow as we unpack some more offseason narratives. TD, what do you got to say to the audience before we let them go?
Thanks for tuning in. Again, go check out Roundtable Sports on all social medias. Also, Miami Dolphins Roundtable, Pittsburgh Steelers Roundtables. Make sure you go follow those accounts so you can get the latest news on those. And again, we'll see you tomorrow, 4th and forever. We're out.
What you got, Richie?
See you guys. Appreciate it as always. I got to rest up. I just have a sprained wrist, but it's all good.
Yo, what happened there?
Playing ball. I could have got even more injured with the fall that I had.
Football or basketball, Richie?
Basketball.
Oh, because you be getting mossed on the field.
Love you guys. Peace out.
Heal up, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you
Heal up,
tomorrow,
guys.
same time, same place.
I'm like Jalen Brunson. We're good.
Peace.